The story is told of someone who entered a synagogue on Tisha B'Av for the very first time. And she looked around her quite confused. There were people sitting on the floor or on low chairs, crying, praying, in a state of mourning. She said, "Oh my goodness, what happened? Must have been some terrible tragedy." They said, "Yes, it was the destruction of our holy temple in Jerusalem." She said, "That's terrible. When did that happen?" They said, 2,000 years ago. 2,000 years ago. Seems as if it happened last week. But somehow on Tisha B'Av, the day that we mourn the destruction of 2 temples in Jerusalem, as well as many other tragedies throughout Jewish history, we are meant to feel that loss on a personal level. And yet it's hard to get there. I haven't been to the actual temple in Jerusalem. I don't know about you, and I don't feel that personal loss every Tisha B'Av. But we're in the time frame of what's called the 3 weeks. These are the 3 weeks that lead up to Tisha B'Av, which then lead to the 9 days, and finally the week of Tisha B'Av itself. And this time period is meant to actually move us into a space, a frame of mind where we do feel a personal loss. And the practices, the traditions of this time of the Jewish calendar actually mirror the personal mourning practices. So someone who has a personal loss begins their mourning right here in the cemetery as they lay their loved one to rest, and they begin Shiva. And after Shiva, which is an intense time of mourning, they have the Shloshim, the month of mourning, and then they have the year of mourning. And slowly but surely they're moving from a place of deep sadness, of mourning, back into normal life. The 3 weeks are a mirror to this process. Rabbi Soloveitchik wrote about this, and many others have said the 3 weeks are like the year of mourning. The 9 days are like the Shloshim, the month of mourning. And Tisha B'Av, the week of Tisha B'Av, is like the Shiva. Tisha B'Av itself is the day of loss. And so we're working in the exact opposite direction as someone who has had a personal loss. And the calendar is moving us toward a state of mind where we might actually feel that loss. It's moving us gradually out of normalcy into this time where actually during the 3 weeks we don't have any celebrations, we won't have weddings. There are many other practices that limit our happiness during this time. The 9 days, for example, we don't eat meat or drink wine, except for on Shabbat. And these are ways to get us closer to a sense of personal loss. Exactly the opposite of what happens for someone who has that personal mourning process. And so then what is the comfort? When someone has had a personal loss, they often come here to our beautiful Shar Cemetery, which we're so blessed to have. And it is a comfort to come to the gravesite, to recite a prayer, to share a memory of their loved one. What do we have on Tisha B'Av? We don't go to the site of the loss. We don't go to the temple in Yerushalayim, although maybe some of you have been to Jerusalem on Tisha B'Av. Maybe you've seen the Kohl, the Western Wall, which is the site of the destruction, which is a great comfort to be able to look around and see Jews from all over the world gathering that day and mourning together. But what we have, well, we have our synagogue. We have the Shar. And we have synagogues all around the world where people will gather on Tisha B'Av on that day of loss and will feel comfort. And the reason we feel comfort in our synagogue is that it's called Mikdash Me'at, a mini temple, a mini version of what we had all of those centuries ago in Jerusalem. We had unity, we had community, and we do have that sense of connection when we're at the Shar as well. And so it's the synagogue itself that is the comfort on Tisha B'Av. And really every time we go into the shul, we can feel that sense of comfort, that sense of connection. And it's my chance to talk to you about something that we've been discussing quite a lot in the last number of weeks, which is our daily minyan. I don't know if you've heard, but we've been having a bit of a hard time securing a minyan every morning, every evening. And often it is someone who's had a personal loss, who's coming to say Kaddish. and who needs that minyan. And we wait and we count and we call people, and we're now making a larger process of reaching out to our membership, reaching out to people one-on-one, and I'm reaching out to you right here and saying, come to minyan, come to shul, come be there for someone who might be saying Kaddish, or might be marking a yortzeit, or might be coming simply for some comfort and connection, for some daily prayer. That's the place that we have. And as we move toward Tisha B'Av, maybe we can think about ways to rededicate ourselves to the synagogue, to being in shul, to coming and praying. I know it's a difficult time. I know not everyone's comfortable being indoors given the pandemic. And I'm asking you to do whatever you're comfortable and healthy doing. But we really need you. We need men and we need women, and we need everyone to feel that the shul is a place for the comfort of prayer in community. That's what we were missing when the temple was destroyed all of those centuries ago, and that's what we get from our mikdash ma'at, from our little temple, our sanctuary at the shar, our holy spaces, which really need you there in order to accomplish their goals. I hope that that itself can be a comfort during this time as we lead to Tisha B'Av, and I hope that this Shabbat will be a comfort to you. I wish you a Shabbat Shalom, all my very best, and I hope to see you at the synagogue soon enough.